Left in Kentucky, the podcast of Indivisible, Northern Kentucky. Welcome back to Left in Kentucky. This is Roberto Henriquez.
And Dickerson.
Hi, my name is Amy Ferguson, and it's so good to be able to talk to you today.
Yay! We're glad Amy's back this week.
Amy's back, and you're gonna be in trouble.
This is a flu-free Amy.
Amy's back. Back again. Oh, yeah. We missed you last week.
I can also be front.
Very funny. Oh, so I hope you guys all had a good week.
It was groovy.
Was it groovy? Yeah. It was exciting. You know. It got cold.
Building my dining room wall.
Nice.
Toilet paper and water and now more things.
Nice. Nice. Very nice.
A cannon almost made me poop my pants today.
I did hear about that. Was that today or yesterday?
It was today, wasn't it?
The Ryle Cannon?
Maybe
no, that was yesterday.
The days. They flow like a river.
Because Ryle had their football.
It was yesterday.
Ryle had their football game
that I almost
that they came in
crap
runner
my
up.
pants.
Yeah.
I'm becoming acclimated to the cannon fire sound from the football games, but no football game was occurring at that time, so I wasn't mentally prepared for said cannon sound. As I was attempting to send a message on Messenger, which is something that I don't like to do anyway. And then I just messed up because that cannon, and then it was the almost poop, and yeah. So that happened yesterday, apparently.
You ever end up someplace and you suddenly realize, how did I get here? I have no idea how I ended up where I am.
That's funny.
Constantly.
I don't know what I would have done if I heard a cannon fire out of nowhere.
And it's like a real cannon, and it really sounds like a cannon.
Well, Highlands fires a cannon when they score, and the Columbus Blue Jackets fire a cannon when they score inside.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's poop-inducing, y'all.
That's fun. That's fun. Amy is fixated on almost crapping her pants.
I'm over it now. And it
doesn't sound like it.
It was an. It was. You know,
it really sounds like you're not.
Okay. I would ask for your help in helping me overcome this trauma now.
Alrighty then.
It won't be mentioned again.
Yeah, it won't be mentioned again. So that happened. Oh, too funny. So everybody knows that Amy was not with us last week. She did take notes. She gave us some notes about some things.
I did.
And but she said she was saving. She gave us notes about some things before we started recording.
It's true.
But then she was like, "Oh, but I have some I'm saving for when we're recording." We're like, "Oh God, what is this gonna be?"
Well, don't call me Squidgy.
I promise. Never again.
We promise. We will never call you Squidgy.
Because it's a squidge. Like
I don't know what the squidgy thing is.
It's like
I don't either.
It's like a marshmallow thing.
Okay.
Like kids marshmallow it or like squeeze it, or it's flute. It's
Okay. We won't do the squidgy thing anymore.
No, don't call me that, because I'm not. I don't think I am.
What else?
Well, there's a word that I would like that you not say, because it does trigger me.
Yeah. And what word's that?
Well, I'm not going to say it, because then I would.
Well, then how do we know
myself, you know what it is.
How do we know what word not to say if you don't say it?
I think she's referencing "He Who Shall Not Be Named."
Voldemort?
From her perspective.
I like old Moldy Voldy.
I was going to say Voldemort.
I'm saying from your perspective.
What word is it you don't want us to say? I don't understand.
Oh, now you're just being disingenuous, because you definitely know what the word is.
I would never do such a thing.
Yes, you would cause me drama. Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like when you're playing euchre and somebody throws a card and then you play the trump card.
Yeah.
So.
I'm very good at euchre, by the way.
Me too.
Really? What's your favorite trump?
Oh God.
I will spade you.
All right.
I will
We need to
spade you
move
right in
this-
the heart
We need to move this along and get to some actual topics.
with a club.
Talk to us about how you felt about our therapy session.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I was listening to my parents talk about their past trauma. And then I identified with said trauma. So it was very cathartic listening to you all talk about how people react differently to the shared trauma that we've all just experienced back in November.
Yeah.
And how we each work through it in different ways. And Anne's on, leaping up and, things. And I was flying like a swan through the night or some such thing. And ready to go. Like, she's ready. But some of us need some time to process. And, we all need some space sometimes. And, especially when you go through something like this. I've been doing a lot of thinking about ways that I can turn my shock. I mean, I was shocked. I was frustrated with my fellow Americans. And, what can I do? How do I turn this into action? How do I turn these thoughts and feelings into something actionable, something positive in this world?
Right.
Besides just my presence alone, which I know does bring peace, love, and harmony to all.
It does.
But, you all can't hover around me because, that would annoy me. But...
Alrighty then.
So you just have to settle for the sweet sound of my voice.
The dulcet tones of Amy Ferguson coming at you live.
It isn't live. This is recorded.
That's true.
Hopefully.
We're
this
here
is
live.
round 2.
Follow us online, but not in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all probably know where I am. Just tell me before you come.
Just fire the cannon
What's
before you.
next on your
So I'll
list?
put
Oh
some
my
pants
God.
on.
Well, that's the whole reason we do podcasts, so that we don't have to put pants on.
Right.
We
Oh,
don't do video casts because, well, I guess you really only have to dress from the waist up for video cast.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cold. You have to wear pants. I mean, sometimes 2 pairs like somebody might have on right now.
I've got shorts on, so.
Yeah, I'm chilling like a villain. You cry.
Some people have called me a cold-hearted bitch, but,
No, never.
Oh, you're not cold-hearted.
Never.
It's only
You're
because
not
I
cold.
can't.
You're not cold-hearted.
All right.
Those people were wrong. That's all I have to say about that.
All right.
So what's going on in the news this week? Anything? Is there anything?
Besides the fall of
I don't-
Syria.
Yeah, besides the fall of Syria and Bashar al-Assad going to Russia and be given asylum in Moscow.
I think he and Snowden should be roommates.
I think so too.
The other.
That's this podcast I want to listen to.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's the odd couple adaptation we all need.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
That's
dun, dun,
hilarious.
dun, 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 dun.
Who would play which role? That's hilarious.
Oh, Assad is clearly Felix.
Yeah, duh.
I think, everybody's got different varying opinions on the level of crazy of all of the new administrative picks.
What? I think they're great.
Um,
You set them up and they're knocking them down.
right. Well, and of course now you've got this new Doge. Jesus.
Oh yeah, the I know it's the cryptocurrency, but he used it as an acronym for the thing that him and what's his name are going to do to reduce the
Department
spending.
of Government Accountability.
Well,
Yeah.
but then what's
Something.
really funny about that is he chose somebody else to do the cryptocurrency,
Right.
Not Elon,
Right.
and so it's like,
Yeah.
I can't even get inside the
You
level
should really not try.
of crazy. Yeah, I know.
It is a cornucopia of crazy.
And it's
Don't
all,
climb up that colon.
It is a 7-layer dip of crazy.
well, and it's all contradictory. It's
Right.
It's like, you start these picks, and I think you're going this way, and then this happens. I'm like, how's that gonna jive?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they're supposed to get, was it $2 billion they're supposed to be cutting $2 billion of spending or something crazy like that.
Oh, I thought it was higher than that.
Is it higher than that?
I thought it was closer to the T's.
Honestly,
$2 trillion?
Something like that.
Okay. But I know it's like, I mean, there's no way they're going to be able to do it without cutting, like,
things that they need Congress
Social
for.
Security.
Well, and they've already established that that's on the table, that they're coming for that.
Yeah.
Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare.
Which is fine as long as they give me back everything I paid into Social Security.
Right. Which
with interest.
This is why we have this I wouldn't call it an uprising at this point. I think more shock. This buyer's remorse. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that slides right in there with this is this thing that came out, I think it was yesterday, about ending the Medicaid expansion, which affects over 3 million people in 9 states. And
Wow.
those 9 states are not who I would have expected them to be.
Well, it's got to be like Bible Belt states.
You would think, but that
Yeah.
is not the case.
Really?
Yeah, because like one of the states, probably the most shocking to me was North Carolina, which went entirely blue, except
But at the top of the ticket, it was
except for
red.
the very top.
Right.
Everything else was blue.
Yeah.
So they're one of the states. Arizona, another one that virtually went, blue except for the very top.
Right.
Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Montana, New Hampshire, Utah, and Virginia. So,
Weird.
Very weird collection of states.
Red states, those, deep red states, they voted against even accepting that expansion.
They did.
It's not even
right.
in place.
You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so
of course, if they
can't
didn't
lose
accept it,
something they don't even already have.
no,
Yeah.
that makes total
Right.
sense.
So, I don't know. That's on the table, like you said. Social
Right.
Security, Medicaid, Medicare,
They need
in
Congress.
totality, are on the table. But there's the thing, and this is what it's going to come down to, is all of these things that they claim that they're going to do are not able to be done by executive order.
Right.
They cannot bypass Congress on this stuff.
No.
Anything that has to be dealt with in the House in particular, they've got a 1-seat majority until the spring, until all of these special elections start happening.
Yeah, which means nothing's going to happen.
Right. I mean, they couldn't do it before, so
Right.
they sure as hell aren't going to be able to do it now.
Yeah.
Which gives people somewhat of a reprieve, but hopefully it'll be enough to open some eyes to the fact that, yes, they really do want to do this. Yes, we weren't lying to you when we said that this was a dangerous situation because all of these things were on the table.
Right.
So I think that causes a shift of focus for us, for people on the ground, for people wanting to do productive things to fight against what's coming, because I think that kind of changes what's going to come fast and furious.
Right.
Right? Things that, and so we need to be looking at things that can be done without Congress. Those are the things
Right.
that are going to be done fast and furious and hard. And one of those things is going to be immigration.
Right. Yeah.
And our immigrant communities are going to be under attack dramatically.
Well, I mean, we gotta, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, we've got to protect our immigrant communities. But with some of these special elections coming up, I mean, that has to be something of an opportunity for us to really make a difference in some of these special elections.
Hopefully. I mean, it was really interesting, I think, because I think 3 of them are in Florida.
Right.
All in very, very, very red areas. So, hold on, I'm doing this one on purpose. If you are a political operative working in the United States, you are one of the young people who likes to travel, who likes to work on various campaigns, get on the phone to whoever you know. Contact groups like Arena or others get to Florida, get to where we know that
or the state Democratic Party,
yes, anywhere where we know that these special elections are taking place, and know that you've got 7 weeks to work your hiney off to try to change what the heck is going on in various places, because in honesty, we could flip the house. I mean, do I think it's going to happen? No.
But it's it's a place to put effort.
Oh,
right.
Well,
I mean, look up.
The narrower the margin.
Right. Right.
The narrower the margin, the better.
Yeah. And honestly, in these areas, I mean, even though they may be red areas, we have no idea sitting here, we have no idea what the candidates are like.
Right.
And it may be a horrendous candidate.
Special elections are special. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen it in response to the Tea Party. We've seen it in response to the original uprising of MAGA, where special elections were a place that we excelled. Mm-hmm. The quote unquote resistance across the country really excelled in that way, and was able to flip various state legislatures in that. So to be able to do it on a federal level and have, just a massive field organization in Florida would be a phenomenal thing.
Yeah. So for our listeners, or for people that our listeners know, if you're ready to get in the game right now and you're like, I want to engage right now, find out what special elections are going on and find out how you can be engaged, how you want to. If it's calling people, because these campaigns will have phone banks for people phone banking. They'll probably have postcard and writing things. So text banks. So even if you can't physically get to Florida or wherever else these special elections may be, you can still participate. But if you are mobile, if you are an operative, you definitely want to get in touch with these places and be like, I can make a difference right now, in the next 7 weeks.
And that's all they have, because once the Speaker of the House announces that the seat is vacant and calls the governor of that state to say, this seat is empty, you need to have a special election, the governor, by law, only has 49 days to announce or to hold that special election. So 7 weeks and
change. Yeah. So that's some way you can get involved right now, and potentially make a huge difference on the federal level. Because with a 1-seat majority, even if it's an independent that gets elected, that's going to be a huge difference, because you never know where an independent's going to vote or who they're going to caucus with. Or I think there's one independent that said they weren't going to caucus with anybody. Correct.
That's going to be just really, really interesting.
Which I really want to be a fly on the wall for that.
Like, dude, man. I mean, it's one thing to be an independent thinker and to, be able to, to be able in one person to meld, well, I agree with this group on this issue, but I'm way over here on the other side on this issue. But if you ever hope to be a productive member of any group of people,
you've got to caucus with one or the other.
You got to make friends.
Yeah.
Nobody operates as an island within a group and is successful at what they're trying to do.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we've really gotten away from in our politics, unfortunately, is that it is about compromise, right? It is the art of the possible. It's like you come up with a compromise that everybody's may not be super happy with, but we can all live with. And everybody kind of gets something that helps them out.
Right. I mean, how long have we been since 2015, 2016? Mm-hmm. I would rather get some of what I want than none of what I want.
Exactly.
This extremist belief in the burn it all down mentality and I want all or nothing serves no one.
Exactly.
It hurts more people than it helps, certainly.
And everybody's so upset about how Congress never gets anything done. Well, that's why.
Right.
That's why nothing gets done, is because it's an all or nothing mentality.
We are in dire need of the statesmen and stateswomen of the past, and people who were able to make coalitions and alliances and things of that nature.
I see, some of these congressional hearings and committee meetings, and I'm struck by the lack of intelligence that some of the members possess. Like, I believe, like, the bar has gotten so low for what qualifies as someone to represent that we're getting into scary territory here, people. It's the seriousness of it, and you can't have a reasoned debate about policy or form a coalition or find a compromise with someone that's not even living in the same reality that you're living in.
True.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fix is for that. I don't know what the solution is for that. Just an observation that I have just noticed that there may have been people in the past that I vehemently disagreed with, but at least they could articulate their position.
Right.
Yeah.
They lived in the same reality as me, and they've maybe a jerk and say they want to cut Social Security or whatever, but they at least recognize facts. And, that's what's so frustrating to me. It's like, I can't live outside of facts.
Yeah.
I can't debate outside of facts. I can't.
I agree. And I'm the same way. Evidence. Give me proof.
Mm-hmm.
Concrete proof that's repeatable and
verifiable.
Yeah.
Reproducible.
Right.
And the reason I say that is this, because with the plethora, the mountains of misinformation out there, you have people that will swear that they've verified that what they're telling you is absolute fact when we know it's absolute.
That means they saw it on the internet.
Right, and it's total bullshit.
Yeah.
But even their this over here proves it. No. Reproduce it.
Right.
If you can reproduce it, I'm much more likely to believe you. Don't just tell me, we have this report from this obscure publication over here that nobody's ever heard of before and only pops up every 4 years when a certain person is in charge of certain things.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, which is what this whole podcast is about, our own individual opinions, right?
Sure. We don't speak for everyone,
right.
Of course.
I barely speak for myself half the time. But no, in my opinion, I think that's why one of the ways that we can work with somebody who we may not be able to agree on a lot of points of what are actual fact, is if we focus on an issue and it's like, okay, I have no idea where you are on these other things because I can't even wrap my head around what you're trying to say. But on this issue, we agree. So let's work together on this issue to get this issue passed.
Absolutely, that is the way forward.
Yeah, like we talked about last time.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that is the way forward.
Some other interesting things. I don't know if you when it comes to leadership positions and committees and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the Senate the state Senate announced.
The state Senate announced, and they've listed who the chairs and co-chairs and vice chairs are of the various committees.
Right.
For the ranking Republicans. Apparently the House decisions have been made. They've just not been made public yet. What I'm curious about, and this is going to lead to the federal level stuff that's happened too, because I love this kind of stuff. This jockeying for position.
Yeah.
I just picture 400 and some odd people down in their seats. I'm gonna do
it's a Kentucky Derby with a 400 horse field.
Right? It's so great. But anyway,
I picture bumper cars.
Oh, that's funny. Now, I like that too. But I want you to imagine this. This is what I'm looking for, right? Because remember, was it just 2 years ago? Several of our Northern Kentucky representatives got spanked
Oh yeah.
by the leadership,
Yep.
and were all stripped of their committee assignments.
Yep.
Right, but then turn around. Here's how dramatically things have changed in just 2 years, which is going to be of particular interest to you because this speaks to your representative.
Oh, bless her little pea-picking heart.
Wait, who's your representative?
Marianne Proctor.
Oh, she is precious.
Yes.
So at her fundraiser this year, all of a sudden, the totality of the leadership of the Republican Party was represented at her fundraiser by people who were either there or listed as hosts and co-hosts and that of her fundraiser. And there was this just lovely speech by Representative Jason Nemeth talking about, the quote unquote right kind of red. And I was like, what? And good red versus bad red. So they're not just sowing chaos and division between parties. They're sowing chaos and division within their party, stating absolutely outright, you're either with us or you're against us, which is why we've seen so many of these people who we thought were traditional, reasonable.
I mean, you used to be able to talk to Jason.
Right. No, he's gone
Full red pill?
Full cuckoo crazy.
Ketchup on the wall.
He's gone off the charts. But Marianne Proctor was one of those legislators who got spanked. So I'm real curious to see where she ends up. Then also you have, yeah.
She wasn't enough so she got spanked.
She threw mayonnaise on the wall.
Yeah, 2 years ago,
Oh my
she
God.
and Steve Doan and, all of the ones who wouldn't fall in line and were all following, what's his name, Josh Calloway, they all got stripped of their committee positions. Well, now here we are 2 years later, and it's
The house turns.
So it's going to be real interesting to see where they end up. And these people who were, freshmen, this is their sophomore term, their second term.
Right.
Do they end up in positions of chairs on these committees? Are they just going to be members of these committees? Do they get back to the 5 or whatever it was that they were on before? Or are they still considered, low enough on the totem pole that they might only get placed on 1?
Right.
So it's going to be real interesting to see how that all plays out. Now you have that. Then at the federal level, what we have going on in the House is we have different Democrats vying for ranking status
Right.
on the various committees. And I am here for it. I am here for it. I love it. Even people who I definitely don't agree with all of the time on every issue, I'm still happy to see. We need a shakeup.
Yeah.
And we've seen, especially with some of these younger people, younger to me. I mean, hell, I'm 57, so I'm getting to that point where
Me too. I'm 57.
everybody's younger.
Yeah, everybody's younger.
But
Wow, I'm a crying baby over here.
one of those
53.
that's funny. One of the examples is AOC. She's vying for
Right.
a ranking member position.
Right.
Another example, I love me some Jamie Raskin.
Oh, yeah.
Love him. And he is the current ranking member on the oversight committee.
Right.
But he wants to move, I believe, to judiciary. He wants to be
Really?
Yeah. So he wants to be the ranking member
On judiciary.
on judiciary.
Wasn't Adam Schiff the ranking member, and he went to the Senate?
Yeah,
So
and
that's
yeah,
why.
yeah. And so he wants to move, and then AOC wants to move up and take his position as the ranking member, as opposed to just going by number of years of service.
Right.
Right? I think it's a good thing.
I think so, too.
it's interesting that they're thinking about it. I also think that might not be, going back to what we were talking about, the two of them together, I don't necessarily picture as the type that you would expect to kind of team up.
Right.
But in this regard, I'm like, oh yes,
Yeah.
bring more of that to Mama.
Yeah.
Because I am absolutely loving stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, we need more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. More of that creative thinking, more of that outside the box of
Definitely
what
not
we
the same we've always done.
right. What we've been doing obviously has not been fucking working.
Right.
So let's do something different. Let's figure out a way to make this different and
Let's
change
give
the
new
status quo.
perspectives a chance.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. So those are the kind of things that are interesting. And then we do go back to the status quo of our own personal, representative flip-flopper who is the chameleon that likes to change how he presents himself depending upon, the issue of the day or the
But
position
his
of the
hair
day.
is so curly.
So, Thomas Massey now has introduced the National Constitutional Carry Act to prohibit states from requiring a permit to carry a firearm. So, what's real interesting about that, though, is before it was all
States' rights. Federal overreach.
Right. I'm the constitutional Republican, in a very true Nixon.
Wait, I thought he was the constitutional libertarian.
Right. Well, that's
He's the poodle in the circus, performing his little act.
That's so true. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That
poodle
is
in the
so
circus.
true. Because every time you turn around, he's got
And he's yipping and he's yapping and,
and he gets nothing done. I mean, in the time that he has been in Congress,
Occasionally he does poop on the floor.
occasionally, in his time there, I don't think there has been a single year that he has been our representative, and I would have to double check this, but I don't believe there's been a single year that he's made it off of the list of the most ineffective people in Congress.
Yeah.
And
He's probably proud of it.
He introduces stuff that doesn't get passed.
Right.
He votes no on everything.
Right.
No matter what it is.
Right. So now we've gone from Mr. No to, in 2022, we referred to him as Mr. No Show.
Right.
Because every public invitation he got to show up at any event in which he had somebody running against him, he never showed up to a single event. Not even in Lewis County where he lives did he show up for those people. And so he's gone from Mr. No to Mr. No Show, and now he's Mr. Putting on the Show.
Yep.
Well, he's got the
Ooh,
tutu
I like
on.
that. Mr. Putting on the show.
He's
Right?
got the tutu on in the circus. Yes.
I mean,
He's dancing on back of the bear.
And I'm to the point with him, with the people that vote for him, that I'm like, here's the other thing. You go out, you have your average conversation on the street. Literally, you could walk down any street in any county in Congressional District 4 and ask somebody about Thomas Massey. If you... I would venture 75% of the people immediately would look at you and go, oh, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they're registered as.
Yeah.
The only people who might, and that's a big if, are that would respond positively might be your libertarians and people as other.
Right.
Right?
I think your single issue Amendment 2 voters, they love him.
Right. But that's all they love him for.
But that's it. Yeah.
The people...
They got that postcard from Christmas on their refrigerator, y'all.
Right. I mean, it's just like, what has he ever done? Name one thing. I want somebody to tell me one thing. One positive thing he has done.
What business has he brought to...
Name a single dollar he's brought back.
Name a dollar he's brought back. Name a job he's created.
Right.
He brought back his paycheck.
Name anything he has done for the people of Congressional District 4 other than make sure you can carry a freaking gun.
Right. And what's funny is when you talk to people too, and they're, oh, I hate that guy, da 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 da, and you're in a room full of Republicans hearing this, right?
Right.
But yet you turn around and the vote split he gets is astronomical. It's like, wait a minute. Every single person in this room told me they hated him, but yet you all voted for him. Why? And then it's like, oh, well, no.
Yeah. Because he has an R after his name.
Right. I mean, the Democrat that was running against him was too crazy. What? Have you seen the Democrats we've run against him? I mean, this is that back to that tribalism.
Right.
We've got to break it.
Yeah.
We've got to break tribalism on all sides.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Absolutely.
I'm on it.
So that's your assignment this week, Amy. We
All
expect you to have that fixed before next
Okay.
episode.
Break tribalism.
Amy's
I'm
gonna
on it.
fix it.
I got my Rush shirt on. I'm ready.
She's got her 2112 Rush shirt
Mm-hmm.
on. She's gonna fix it before next week.
That's so funny. I mean, so it has been an interesting week in terms of what we've seen come down the pike.
Yeah.
I'm beyond shock value at this point. I don't know
Yeah.
about you. It's
No.
like, when he started
I
announcing.
mean, literally anything. Nothing.
Right. It's like,
mean-
people, oh my gosh, I can't believe he picked that guy. Why?
Right.
What did you expect?
Yeah.
It was always going to be shocking. It was
Yeah.
always going to be a clown show.
Yeah.
It was always going to be a race to see who could be the most incompetent.
Yeah.
I mean, the sad fact is probably the most competent person that he's chosen for anything is Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. And God help us all, he's fourth in line. I
I
mean,
know.
I just pictured RFK Jr. like doing a triple.
Yeah. I mean,
Trapeze.
it's
well, I mean,
so let's
See how it all plays out.
let's shift gears a little bit.
yep.
Let's talk about people here in Kentucky who so let's say we've got some folks listening that are like, okay, I want to do something locally here in Kentucky now.
Yes.
I mean, there are some opportunities. So while we're not in general session right now, that won't come up until January.
January 7th.
Yep. But there are still committee meetings. And if you have not watched any of the committee meetings, those are all available on KEA.org or KET, not KET, Kentucky Educational Television, KET.org/legislature. They live cast all of the committee meetings that are still happening. There was one just this past on the 3rd, which was Tuesday. They also archive them, so you can watch them after the fact, just in case you're not available at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday because you have like a job or something.
God forbid.
There are some people I hear that have jobs.
Right.
But
We do.
But you can keep up with what's going on. And I think that's a way for folks that are like, okay, I'm ready to get engaged now. What can I do now?
Right. And I think people need to be very realistic about what they're willing to put forth in terms of a time commitment. Mm-hmm. Is it an hour a week, 2 hours a week? Are we only talking a meeting a month? Be realistic about how much time you have available to you and how much you're willing to put towards these kind of efforts, because we do have the ability to direct people regardless. I mean,
Right.
people who are, retired, maybe have more time available, especially during the day during the week when other people
Right.
don't. We have lots of activities that they can help us with. For other activities, they're going to be more appealing to other folks. We have a plethora of these things. But
Everybody can call the legislative hotline number, though, and you can leave a message
Yes,
for your legislative representative.
that is super important.
And everybody can do it. It just takes a few minutes. The people are lovely. They're public service. They're going to answer your phone. They're not people that work for your representative. So keep that in mind. Be very polite and respectful to those folks.
I think that's a good point. And I think a lot of people may not realize that in the state of Kentucky, the folks that work for our state representatives and state senators, they're actually independent, nonpartisan folks that work for the Legislative Research Commission in Kentucky. So each, like at the federal level, everybody like hires their own staff and they're like loyal to their representative or their senator that they're working for. In Kentucky, it's this pool of people that support the House, the State House, and the State Senate. So when you call those folks, they're just public servants. They're not Republicans. They're not Democrats. They're not anything. They're nonpartisan. But what they do is they take those calls and they kind of keep track of them, right? They go,
Sure.
While you may not get to talk to your representative or your state senator, they keep track of, okay, on this issue, we had 728 people call in favor of this bill, and we had 300 people call against this bill. And as long as your representative is not Demon Thayer or somebody like him, they're actually going to look at that and go, okay, the feedback I'm getting from my constituents is more heavily weighted in favor or
Right.
against this. So they're going to take that, hopefully, into consideration.
And you can call every day.
Yeah. They're going to take that into consideration when they either support or don't support a bill. And if they don't take that into consideration, like Demon Thayer vocally said he didn't care
Right.
what his people wanted, he didn't want it, so he wasn't going to vote for it. In which case, you might want to reconsider supporting that as your quote-unquote representative.
Well, thankfully, he's out of the picture now.
Right.
But
Well,
Just lurking in the shadows.
yeah, we'll see what comes of the rumors.
he's out of
going
the
around.
immediate picture.
Yeah. So let's give that number to everybody. It's 1-800-372-7181. That is the legislative line in Frankfurt. And people need to, either write it down, put it next to your phone, program it into your phone, put it on your refrigerator, wherever you need to put it, because phone calls is something that we're going to be pushing a lot this year, both at the federal and the state level. And I understand that a lot of people hate it. But the fact of the matter is this. Number one, it leaves a paper trail, because whether you're calling at the federal level or at the state level, those messages are recorded. In Frankfurt, you'll hear them referred to as green slips, I believe, or green papers.
Yeah, something like that.
Just some advice when you're calling. Maybe write down what you're going to say, so you won't. If you have trouble speaking on the phone, and state your name. My name is so and so. I live in State House District so and so. My representative is so and so. I want to let them know that I oppose. And then you have the House bill number ready.
Right. Or Senate bill.
Or Senate bill, whatever it may be.
Right.
So have that information ready, and literally all you need to do.
Yeah, you can, 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
However, the other thing that you can do as well is you don't have to send your message just to your representative or your state senator. You can send it to all, which makes things a little bit easier. And like Amy said, you can call every day.
Right. Now, what if I don't like talking on the phone though? Right. I just want to send I want to send a message, or I want to send a postcard. Wait, why is phone more important than sending a postcard?
Well, this one I can't answer for you at Frankfurt, but I can answer for you at the federal level, because any mail at the federal level automatically has to be quarantined for a certain amount of days, because they're going to test it for anthrax and everything else that's going on.
That's why I just send Mitch those generic postcards.
Well, that, and they also, they have people go through them to decide he's not going to give two flying what's about this. And a lot of it gets pitched before it ever makes it to the office. And then once it gets to the office, it's going to go through another round of that with another round of advisors or what have you. The chances of that being effective are virtually nil. So phone calls is massively important. We saw back in, 2017, in the beginning of the first term of this, we saw how effective it was in terms of, many times. I think I forget how many times in the first week that we crashed the switchboard because there were so many phone calls.
Absolutely.
It was something like they have never seen before.
Yep.
We need to be prepared for that again. You need to be prepared that, while you may feel that our particular representatives and senators are not necessarily open to our positions on these things. There are others across the country who welcome insight from people in other parts of the country. So we may throw, there are times where we may throw their specific line at you and say, we want as many phone calls as we can get to this person.
Right.
It's the nice thing is it doesn't take a lot of time.
You don't have to travel.
Yeah, and you could even set it aside that if you're somebody who works at 8:00 in the morning and you get up at 6:30, you know what? At 7:00 every day, you decide I got 5 minutes to make my phone call.
Yep.
Even if that phone call is before those phone lines open,
it's recorded and counted.
Correct. So that's something that people need to know as well.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's going to be a big thing, especially in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
When we hear of anything just ultra dramatic, especially if they're trying to circumvent the rules or the norms of procedure, what have you.
Or pull a sewer bill on us or something.
Yeah, we talked about sewer bills last week a little bit.
I did take notes.
Yeah. Definitely. You gotta watch that. And so if you are interested in getting together in real life, we actually have a meeting coming up on the 29th of December.
Right. 2 to 4 at the Erlanger branch of the Kenton County Library.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my husband to make snacks.
Yay,
Ian snacks.
Please join us. We hope to see a lot, and I mean a lot of people, new friends, old friends.
Absolutely.
The curious, the questioning, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
We are
Be there or be harassed by me.
Right.
I'm resistant curious.
There you go. I think we're at the point now where, again, like we talked about last week, we've done this before.
Yeah.
We know how we would like to see this play out. We're going to do everything in our power to encourage people to get involved on one of our teams.
Yep.
We will need people of all different skill levels, interest levels, time available, you name it.
Yeah.
We will find something that's meaningful to you
Exactly.
that you are capable of doing in a realistic fashion. We're not, we don't want anybody to
Right. And if it's,
go beyond their means.
Exactly. And if it's something that we're actively involved in, we'll show you how we do that and what kind of time you have involved, and we'll tailor to that. If it's something we personally aren't involved in, but we know that there is another group involved with that, we'll be like, hey, we love your energy. We're glad you want to get involved. We aren't involved in that effort, but here is a group that is involved in that effort.
Right. Or this is the group that we regularly support in that effort.
Right. Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. So however deep you want to go, however narrow or wide you want to go, we have a way to help you be involved and make as much of a difference as you possibly can.
Yes.
So reach out to us. Let us know, again, topics you would like to hear us talk about, issues you'd like to hear us talk about.
And if you do represent one of those organizations that has a specific goal, different cause that you want to highlight.
Yeah, please come to the meeting.
Please come to the meeting.
Come to the meeting, reach out to us.
Tell us how we can best help you.
Yeah. And I think last week we gave the wrong email address.
Yes, I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We've got that thing going on here. The correct email address is info@Indivisible NKY with Indivisible completely spelled out .com. So info@IndivisiBleNKY.com is
.com, not .org.
Correct. Is the correct email address.
Okay. Great.
And we're out there now. We're on Blue Sky. We still maintain a small presence on X. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Threads. YouTube, yes. And in terms of listening to this podcast, that's one of the places that anybody can go. You don't need a membership or anything. You go to
You can go to the YouTube
and listen to it.
We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on the Amazon Podcasts, Spotify. We're on just about anything. And if you have a favorite podcast app that you don't find us listed on, send us an email and let us know, hey, I use this app to listen to my podcasts and your podcast isn't on us. And I will work to make sure we get listed on that platform.
Yes.
And share our podcast, let other people know, bring other people into the fold.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Many hands make light work.
Spread it like ketchup on the wall.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
All right, guys. You have a good one. We'll talk to you next week. I'm Roberto Henriquez.
And Dickerson.
And the inevitable.
Have a good one, guys. Left in Kentucky, the podcast of Indivisible Northern Kentucky.